President-elect Donald Trump slammed many in the news media today for reporting a claim that Russia had embarrassing information about him that could be used as blackmail. Let's talk about the coverage of that story. With us tonight, Fox News media analyst and host of Fox News MediaBuzz, Howard Kurtz, and Fox News politics editor, digital politics editor, Chris Stirewalt. They're in Washington. Chris, first to you. It was contentious at times today.
Yes, that is a word for it. When the President-elect refers to a network as fake news and tells them we won't call on them, yes, I would say contentious is a word. And it was interesting. The overall set piece for the press conference was staid and calm. They were trying to evoke presidential authority, and we're going to have this very serious briefing about his transfer of power. And then Donald Trump was going to be Donald Trump before everything was said and done.
Well, let's take a listen to the President-elect about two news organizations.
As far as BuzzFeed, which is a failing pile of garbage, writing it, I think they're going to suffer the consequences. They already are. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
Well, BuzzFeed put out a statement, Howie. The editor, Ben Smith, a note to staff. As we noted in our story, there's serious reason to doubt the allegations. We have been chasing specific claims in this document for weeks and will continue to. Publishing this document was not an easy or simple call. People of goodwill may disagree with our choice, but publishing this dossier reflects how we see the job of reporters in 2017. Really?
Not how I see the job, Brent. Let's be clear. This was a perversion of journalism. For BuzzFeed to put out this bubbling stew of unverified rumors and allegations, while Editor-in-Chief Ben Smith says serious doubt about those allegations, that editor also called Trump a mendacious racist during the campaign, flies in the face of any notion of fairness or standard of proof. Now, CNN, which we saw CNN correspondent Jim Acosta trying to get a question from Trump and getting slapped down in that news conference, in a different category in this respect. It did publish a story, did air a story, saying that there was embarrassing information that may have compromised Donald Trump in the eyes of Russia, but it held back the salacious details, so I think at least there was some restraint there, but I still don't think I would have put that on the air either.
But, you know, Chris, there's significant pushback, according to John Roberts, that senior Trump officials said that the President-elect didn't get these 2 pages of this memo, this dossier, that it was talked about in passing, and that was the whole thing that CNN was reporting, I guess, was the 2 pages were an addendum to this intelligence report about Russia.
And the New York Times corroborated what CNN had found, whether it was said in passing, whether it was appended to the document, whatever. The first part, and I think Howie makes a good distinction here, the first part is responsible journalism when you say, okay, we understand that Donald Trump was warned about this stuff and President Obama was told about this, and this is there and it's out there, because that is an incremental advance in the story about what is Russia trying to do to the U.S. system, what is their involvement, da-da-da-da-da, interesting. And then BuzzFeed says, Yahtzee, just throw it out there. I guess everybody ought to see it. There's a reason you don't put stuff like that out there, because it is defamatory and hurts people, and if you don't know that it's true, you ought not bandy it about.
Howie, this tone, this tenor, this news conference fired up his supporters on social media. And what does this say about the president-to-be and his interaction with the press going forward, do you think?
Well, obviously, it's been a contentious relationship for 18 months, continuing during the transition. But, boy, BuzzFeed gave the president-elect a big gift-wrapped present, because they didn't just, you know, try to sort of dismiss this defensively. This was teed up with Vice President-elect Pence, Sean Spicer, even before Donald Trump came out, ripping BuzzFeed, desperate for clicks and all of that. And here's why it's really damaging. Because in the eyes of many people, it's not just about BuzzFeed, it's not just about CNN's more limited story. It's a way for the incoming president, who doesn't have much love for the media, to discredit all of us. Because a lot of people just say, well, that's typical of the mainstream media, even though President-elect Trump did point out that most news organizations, some of whom had this material, didn't touch it. He made the distinction, but in the eyes of the public, it looks like we all are willing to put out garbage from time to time.
Yeah, and Chris, last thing, we're getting word that the House and the Senate are going to get classified briefings from the intelligence community on what we know about the hacking surrounding the U.S. election. Barring some other evidence in this particular issue, is this story going to the wayside?
No. Well, first of all, there will be leaks from what is presented to Congress. That always happens because that building has more holes in it than a sponge. So there you go. That will happen. But the other thing is, this is part of a narrative that Democrats are building about Trump as a stooge or puppet or patsy for Vladimir Putin. And they love anything that they can build into that, and they're going to keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. And this is going to be something that Trump will not be easily shed of as long as Democrats have anything to say about it.
Chris Stirewalt, Howard Kurtz, gentlemen, thank you.